Hey guys, I want to show you an example of the kind of function that you might write, get it to work, and then move on. And it's the act of improving that really tests your fundamentals. So what we have here is a function called remove tags. It accepts a string, so the string will look something like this. And the point of the function is that it wants to remove the beginning part of the string, so this first bit which starts with begin private key, and the end bit. So it wants to remove that from the string and just return what's inside of it. So the function receives that string, it uses the .replace method on that string, it accepts two arguments. The first is the bit that you want to replace in the string, and then the second is what you want to replace it with, which in this case is just an empty string. So it replaces the first bit, replaces the second bit, and then right at the end it uses .trim just to remove any white space at the end of that string. If I run the code, we can see the console output here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But when you have a look at this function, there are actually some major flaws. The biggest issue is that it's receiving this argument, cert string, and then it's taking it and reassigning it to this new expression. It then does a second reassignment. So each time we are reassigning a new value, that is not something you should ever do. Instead, we should create a variable that we will reassign. So I'm just going to use let, because we know it's going to be reassigned. Let str equals cert string, right? And now I can go and reassign the variable. There we go, cert string dot replace, and right at the end, let's go str dot trim. Let's run this and see if it works. And what do we get? Begin private key A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It hasn't worked. We were meant to remove this part. What's happened? If we go back, we have the reassignment, and then we reassign the cert string dot replace. But look at the string that's being worked on, not str cert string. And then again, when we do this reassignment, it's once again working off the original cert string. So it's not working off the updated string, the updated variable str. So what we should do is just change this to str and str dot replace, run it, and there we go. But this code still can be improved. We've created a whole new variable just for the purpose of avoiding reassigning the original argument. The .replace method is always going to return a new string. Why? It's a string primitive. Primitives can't be mutated, so we're always going to receive a new string, not a changed original string. So if we know that the .replace method is always going to return a new string, we don't need to reassign anything. So we can remove this string variable and put the .replace immediately afterwards. Since this expression returns a string, we can then chain the next .replace onto it. So let's actually put this on the next line and remove that bit and get rid of the semicolons, so we chain one method after the next. So we have our argument, calls .replace, that returns a string, and this .replace then works on that return string. And we can actually now do the same for .trim, because .trim also works on strings. So let's just remove this bit. So we removed the variables, we just need to remember to return something. So return cert string. And this now is one big expression that results in one final string primitive, and it is much easier to read, much easier to maintain, and it's also made us think about the fundamentals, working with string primitives and chaining methods after one another to avoid unnecessary variables.